the problems of the world. Oh, here today we gotta make this world a better place for every boy and girl in this human race. Listen, people, we're calling on everybody. Come on and take a stand. We're asking all the nations, come on and join hands. We gotta go to the promised land, but there's a harvest for the righteous in this world. The problems of the world. Here today we gotta make this world a better place for every boy and girl in this human race. I don't know if you heard me the first time, but we're calling on everybody. Come on and take a stand. And we're asking all nations, come on and join hands. We gotta go to the promised land. We gotta go to the promised land. We gotta go to the promised land. There's a harvest for the righteous in this world. The problems of the world. Here today we gotta make this world a better place for every boy and girl in this human race. We're calling on everybody. Come on and take a stand. Asking all nations, come on and join hands. We gotta go to the promised land. You know we gotta go. We gotta go.
My name is Cohen Michael Ben Levi of the Hebrew family of Guyana. The aim of these dissertations is to cause the true house of Israel, who have been without knowledge of themselves for countless generations, and who are now being awakened by the God of the universe to better serve our Creator. It is our hope that by reacquainting this awakening black nation with their laws and former history, it will hasten our return to our true identity, thereby acknowledging our ancient ancestors. This in turn will allow us to know our Father's God and prepare us to stand together to meet the terrible day of the Creator that He is now readying for all mankind. May He cause all your minds and hearts to understand. Shabbat Shalom Lakim. I hope and pray, truly pray that the Most High would comfort all of those families that are mourning today, that He would strengthen all of those who are having health challenges at this particular time. None of us can doubt that our prayers for one another are needed now more so than ever, with such a heavy, destructive hand of Yah on this earth. Once again, may the peace and love of Yah be with you all, and I mean all humanity. Charity begins at home, so certainly to Beit Yisrael. May Yah blessing be with you all. Are you the best version of yourself? Once again, our topic is righteousness exalts a nation. In fact, righteousness exalts an individual. Righteousness can exalt a family. Righteous ways can exalt communities and even a nation. And this is how you rise up in the world as an individual, as a people, as a community, as a family. You have to strive for righteousness. Have you reached your greatest goodness as a person? Have you reached your greatest level of righteousness and your righteous potential in the Creator's eyes? Think about that. not in your eyes. Many people think they are righteous in their own eyes. But I'd like you to consider your righteousness before the litmus test of the law, the Torah. Just like you can test for a substance and determine what it is, not only with acid and a litmus test, but there are other tests of chemicals where when they're looking to see what you might have become sick of, or even a death, they can check the blood and find out by different tests what actually is in your blood or what caused your demise. Have you, as an individual, put your righteousness to test against the laws of the Holy One of Israel, the maker of heaven and earth? I've already told you, and I'll tell you every time, the greatest book on earth is the Torah. The laws, statutes, commandments, and judgments of the Almighty. Many times when we hear the word Almighty or Most High, Creator and Maker of heaven and earth, then we truly think about the power that rules this universe. Many people call him God, but there are many gods, but there's only one Most High. There's only one Creator. There's only one Almighty. That's why he's not just mighty, men are mighty. When we say Almighty, you're speaking about the one who has all the power in his possession, even life itself. In Deuteronomy 32:39, he says, I, Yehovah, kill and I make alive. And he swears by his name and he says, as I live forever, if I whet my glittering sword and take vengeance against the enemy. And he even says the long head here of the enemy, that they will perish. These are warnings and admonitions to all humanity. That's what we must think about along with life. How we're living, because it determines how long we live. Take a journey with me today through Yah's wisdom and guidance on the path to righteousness. Righteousness has no respect of skin color. Doesn't matter who's listening to me. I'm not seeing any color of person in front of me, because righteousness I've seen among all people. There are good and evil people among all people. And so, in this message, the color of skin has nothing to do with the righteousness that I'm speaking about. Even Yah is not the respecter of persons. He looks at anyone who does good and right, and he will bless you. It's a message for Yisrael and for all mankind. In fact, we have to change the state of existence on this planet Earth. Your spirit is what I want you to feel and think about today. What type of spirit do you have? How are you in your ruach all day long, every day? I mean, all of us know we fall off base, anger, different things happen to make you lose it, jealousy. But can you control those things? Yes, you can. That's your struggle between your spirit, that breath that is within you, and this thing called flesh. They're battling every day. Every person is tested and tried. So you have to battle, because you can't avoid the test that the Creator gives to us. Again, when you think about righteousness, you know, sometimes you just wake up, as people say, on the wrong side of the bed. What do they really mean? They mean that today you just didn't feel like yourself. Maybe you had a dream that caused you to be upset in your ruach. You can't even remember what you dreamed. but you just don't feel like yourself, especially if yourself is a good, peaceful, loving person. If that's yourself, you feel pretty miserable getting up out of a bad dream where maybe something happened to someone you love or to yourself. They even call it a nightmare. It can be that bad. What is your spirit like? Do you have a good spirit in you or an evil one? You gotta be the judge. I'm not even here to deal with that. I'm here dealing with my spirit, which I thank God I learned how to deal with that from a young age. Because there's certain things that make you get in touch with your inner self. Usually it's trouble. Trouble will help you get in touch with your inner self real quick. And that's why Solomon even said, he said, it's better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of laughter. See, sometimes I've always found that even as a youth, everything wasn't funny. There were some serious days of contemplation growing up, seeing good and evil all around you. You have to make decisions and choices. It's not a light matter because you're being judged. See, that's why we say the Torah is laws, meaning instructions, mitzvot, meaning things you're commanded to do, kukim or kukot, which are statutes and special judgments for situations with the authority Yah makes, like I told you he did for the daughters of Salafkad, when, of course, they would do another righteousness. And so he made an edict that women can inherit and daughters can inherit when there are no sons. That's called a kukwat. And then you have the mishpat. Now that's the serious one. Because if you don't know Ivrit or Hebrew, that's judgments. Now nobody can deny this either, that we all are judged, because if you're not judged, then why do things happen to you and don't happen to other people? There's a judgment that we all are seeing all around us. People have already died from the coronavirus, and some have not. Why? Why were you protected? And that's why this is a day to say every day, just Todah Yah, because I can stick that in right there, right now. See, part of being a righteous person is giving thanks unto whom thanks is due. See, that doesn't matter if it's the Creator or anybody else. Like, see, manners, that's why when I think of this, brings me back to my mother and father, usually your first teachers. They taught us manners like, in a way that you can't miss it. You never could walk past someone who was watching television or the screen and not say, excuse me. It's such a habit that I do it to this day, because you couldn't pass between two people having a conversation. It was called manners, politeness. That's the fundamental path to righteousness. Knowing how to speak and give the appropriate response in different situations. You know when a person doesn't say thank you and you're the giver, you feel it, because that Ruach knows. They didn't even say thank you. I opened up the door. I didn't even have to do it. I ran to get the door, and she didn't look at me and even acknowledge that I had done it. It's bad manners. Now, what should you do? You can't lose your Ruach there. See, because my mother told me another thing, and that's why I love old country folks. Not because my mother came from the country and my father, but I've been all around the world, and every country I've gone in, seems like the country people are the nicest people, especially when you compare the city. Evil can be in the city as well as in the country, you know that. But it seems like when you take the country boy out the country, some of them values remain there. And in the city, man or woman, you take them out the city, you gotta beat that city out of them or rewire them. Because it's just certain things in the city that we learn that either you just have to have a balance with a parent or elderly people around you that help you and guide you, and allow you with that help to make the right decisions and choices. You're a blessed person. For that, all them people that helped me, told God for them. I hope you're doing the same, because that's righteous. They even remember. Some of them, they may not even be here. It's like my parents. They're not here, but all them teachings, never will forget it. In fact, my children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, they even have them passed on to them. They don't know that it's from my mother and my grandmother, but it's from generation to generation that we have to pass on right teachings. Is your spirit a good spirit? Is your spirit for right or for wrong? When you see right and wrong, which side do you get on? Where does your spirit guide you? I remember Moshe. He saw that Egyptian striking his brother. And Moses, a man of God, he knew that wasn't right. And I'm pretty sure he knew that if he did not intervene, that Egyptian would have killed his brother. He did what he had to do at that time. And you know, Yah guided him in that, because there's a time and a place for everything. I know some people can't fathom that type of righteousness, but sometimes the right thing to do is to maybe hurt somebody. That's you don't want to do, because Yah is about compassion. But even the day of evil, he says that he made the wicked for the day of evil. Proverbs 16, verse 4. You mean that the Creator makes evil people for a day when he will need them to do evil? So I'm just telling you, they're here. Which one are you? Which one do you want to be? What do you feel in your ruach? Because you get wrong feelings and bad emotions. How do you handle controlling your emotions? Because you can't eliminate these questions and go talking about righteousness, because we know everything I'm saying can't fit in the righteousness category. What does your energy, where does your energy rest? Because see, spirit is energy. Love is a certain kind of energy. Hate, another kind of energy. Jealousy, it's a spirit of jealousy. These are root coat that can come on a person, any person. And you have to be able to fight it with the mind, with your thoughts. That's where the battle comes in life. Now, all over this planet, none of us can deny that we have tremendous troubles, not one. That's why you see that I put that S on it, because there's so many you can't count them today. Now, if anybody knows the Creator, and you read his word, because see, the Torah is the greatest book of all. The Holy Scriptures houses the greatest book of all. So you know you can't be in a house with the prophets and all those beautiful proverbs and psalms and writings and separate them, because the spirit of Yah spoke to those prophets, to those writers like Solomon and whomsoever was described. This talk is about an encouragement to do the right thing. It's a plea for all of us to do better. I wouldn't speak to you about anything that I'm not doing myself. In fact, I'm sharing my personal growth with you. How I learned when I came into a Shabbat Yisrael, words of the Bible. See, when you come into a community, you're still an individual in that community. It doesn't matter what everybody else does, you have to do the right thing. That's what life is all about. 2 wrongs, 3 wrongs or more don't make you doing something wrong right. You have to have the strength to counterpunch to act in a different way that doesn't put you at fault with the Holy One of Israel. Truth has the inherited power to yield the promised effect. Whenever you have a righteousness that obeys and is in accordance, aligned with what Yah wants you to do, you will inherit blessings automatically. Likewise, if you do evil, you're going to pay for the evil that you do as well. Righteousness is a defense, just like money. Righteousness without having money can protect you and defend you against destruction and evil that's out there. Righteousness exalts an individual, a family, a community, and a nation. Sin is a reproach to any people. Let's go to Proverbs 14:34. Then we're going to listen to some music in a moment, but we want to get this thought in our minds. In the book of Proverbs 14:34, we'll read that first, and then we'll go to Amos. Proverbs 14:34, just so you can hear it. And Prophet Shah.
Righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people.
So my topic is not one that I chose. This wisdom was written thousands of years before me. I just embraced it because I know it's true. That if you want to prosper, if you want to be successful in life, do the right thing as much as you possibly can. It will help you. And I hope the children are listening to me because you're the ones that really need to get this. See, sometimes, unfortunately, people are too old to learn, to change. And so we gotta understand, you gotta know how to do the right thing in life. And so that's what I want you to do. In Amos 9:8-10, it says the following. Then we'll listen to a little music before going forward.
Behold, the eyes of Jehovah are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith Jehovah.
And that's what my point is. The sinful nation will be destroyed. The Creator said that because you're my people Israel, that's why to the Israelites, you should be encouraged to do the right thing. The only difference is that you've been here suffering for a long time. He didn't destroy us, but look how we've been existing. Some people wish they were dead because of the slave syndrome and the situation that we're living in. Let's listen to a little music, think a little bit about all the nations that have been destroyed: Sodom and Gomorrah, Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, the Greek and Roman empires, the Byzantine Empire, and now we're watching nations fall all around us at this very time. Let's listen to a selection.
Yehovah, creator of all living things, hearken unto the children of Israel, for I know as a people we've done wrong. We've forsaken the Lord and turned to idolatry. We have worshipped gods we did not know. Back as one once again, for we know it's hard, it's too much pain, and as a people we strive to bear. Jehovah, all we access for is your compassion. Please forgive us for all the wrong we have done. Hearken unto us as a people once again. O most holy one, please, for we love you. At present, as a people, we're no people. We fuss and we fight every day. The solution to our problem is to live as one. Come together as a people, as a nation. You see, when we do this, He will show us the way. He will dwell in our midst every day. Yeah, Jehovah, all we ask for is your compassion. Please forgive us for all the wrong we have done. Hearken unto us as a people once again. O most holy one, please, for we love you. O most holy one of Israel, we know we've done all wrong, but right now, as a people, we're coming back in righteousness. We're coming back to exalt your holy name. Yeah. Jehovah, all we ask for is your compassion. Please forgive us for all the wrong we have done. Hearken unto us as a people once again. O most holy one, please, for we love you.
Yes, righteousness. I love it. I hope you love doing right. I love it. It was put into me by people around me. You know, when you're growing up, having that neighbor that knows your parents and tells you, don't you do that, warns you. Children need guidance. They need constant instruction so that they can grow up in a wholesome manner, being fair. That's why sports can't be a sore loser. When you're a child and you're a sore loser, it's just a beginning of how you would be if you don't change it. Because in life, you don't win all the time. You don't win every situation. You have to know how to take losing. You give up? No. Just try a little harder if it's something good and right. When people are unrighteous anywhere on earth, we are threatened by it spread everywhere on earth, even amongst us. That's why our teachings are to humanity. Because, you know, they had wars in countries. There were imperialist nations that plumaged countries and people that they did not know. You can go through history and find it in many, many eras of time. When an individual or people are the victim, it's one thing. You know, when somebody's doing you wrong, that's one thing. But when you're doing another person wrong, that's another thing. When a person experiences both of them, you did somebody wrong and now somebody's doing you wrong, I guarantee you that helps you to understand the situation much better. That's why we went into captivity as a people, because much of the evil that we're experiencing, we did it to each other, says the Bible. So this way you won't get mad at Cohane Michael for saying what I've said. Read your Bible. We're guilty. See, there's a word in Hebrew called hit wada. Now, if you don't know that word, then you're going to be told what it is. But there are scholars out there, Hebrew scholars, that know what I'm saying. See, one thing about getting righteous is you got to get knowledge. See, the more knowledge you get about writing things, it makes you understand life better. Hit wada is written in the book of Leviticus, the 5th chapter. And it speaks about when you hear something, the voice of adjuration, or you see someone doing evil, or you heard somebody swear, I swear I'm gonna kill him tomorrow. I swear I'm gonna beat him as soon as I see him. I swear as soon as I see him, I'm gonna give her a hug and a kiss. And you don't do it. It's the duty of everybody around you and Yah's righteousness have to tell the person. Remind them, you remember what you said you were gonna do yesterday? You didn't do it. You swore in the name of God. That's the type of people that we have to become all over the planet, where we pull each other's coat and help one another to do the right thing, to know what is right. So that's how we eliminate it off the planet. See, even if all Israel was righteous, all Chinese was righteous, Chinese gonna have to worry about all them other countries with them nuclear weapons and bombs and evil ways. Same thing, that's what I'm saying. This is a message for every nation. Just like the first song you heard said, calling all nations. I hope everybody understands. The Creator is the maker of all, everything in the universe. He made all peoples. They all have a purpose. And we're all in this together. Isaiah 2nd chapter says, one day the Lord will go forth from Jerusalem, and nations will come up to hear these teachings like this, because there's nothing else going to be taught. It's the same thing I'm saying right now. I'm hoping the other generations and all those young Levites will understand this and realize you got to be the representatives of the laws of Yah. You can't just represent it with your mouth. You have to live it. No one listens to a person that says one thing and does another. They don't respect that. You got to be striving to do what you're telling other people to do. Imagine on this earth, elderly people living over 100 years and strong and healthy and happy, because who wants to be 100 and unhappy? I'm talking about peace and happiness. Righteousness brings peace and happiness. Trust me. Imagine a continent, all continents, like the motherland, Eden, being beautiful, full of love and unity. Torah is being taught because that's how the only way they're gonna get it. That's what the Torah teaches you, how to live in harmony and righteousness. Righteousness can get you things that money can't buy. Having manners can open up doors that money can't buy. Righteousness can give you length of days, good health and strength. Morality, honesty, justice, and truth comes with righteousness. Just look at this footage about some beautiful places. And I want you to know there's beautiful places and cities in Africa, but I can tell you this also. When you think about all around the world, there can be cities like this everywhere. And you know, Africa's beauty is not the cities, it's the mountains. It's the rainforests and those tremendous, innumerable species of creatures and animals and insects. You ever watch butterflies? You know, that's a beautiful thing, just to watch them butterflies go flying around. I mean, there's so much beauty in the world that if people just took time to look at it and to notice it, they would find this is a beautiful planet we live on. The problem is the people that live in it. Beautiful, beautiful earth. Let's look at some of them. Every country being as beautiful and loving as these photographs. And country beauty, not just the city. To let you know, Africa's developed today, maybe overdeveloped. Nigeria, you wouldn't think that this is how developed some of these places are in the continent. But imagine with all the tribal wars, can't enjoy that beauty. With the poor diets that they have, they can't appreciate, they're not living out their life expectancy. Beautiful rivers, the Nile River, you haven't been on the Nile. Beautiful, beautiful places. This is the city. More beautiful in the city is the country areas in this continent that we were taken from. You ever think about being back, being there with righteousness? And I'll tell you, when we fell, all of Africa fell with Israel. After we were enslaved, the Europeans came back and enslaved them right in their own countries because they were part of Israel. They didn't escape the curse of Deuteronomy 28. No one did. The kings went into captivity. Everyone went into captivity because we were an unrighteous people. Here's some of the things we're doing today and we don't know. In Leviticus, again, the 18th, 19th chapter, verses 28 and 29, we find these words.
Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor imprint any marks upon you. I am Yahweh.
And you know, when I look around and see those beautiful basketball players with them various beautiful complexions of brown, and then they start to put them tattoos over their body and mess that beauty up. I understand why the Creator said, don't do that to yourself. Some of the African tribes put tribal marks in their face to represent the family. Creator saying, don't do that. Many times those are Hamitic seeds because Israel, we did other things, but some of those things we didn't make the tribal marks because we knew this law. A blessing to know the law. No excuse not to know the law. This is life. We have to get it. A must. A man must try to live manfully to be right. He will daily grow more and more to be a right person. Beautiful words. You'll look at some of them later. Let's read on.
Profane not thy daughter to make her a harlot, lest the land fall into harlotry, and the land become full of lewdness.
Are we righteous on this planet? Girls being stolen away from neighborhoods and families and used as sex objects for years? Is that how the Creator wants us to live on this planet? Girls, before they even can get to be a woman, their virginity is taken, sometimes before they reach the age of 10. Is that what the Creator calls clean and righteous living? You know it's not, because they all violate the laws. And you know that he just read it and harlotry is all over the place. That's probably one of the biggest problems on earth today. Immorality in terms of sexual activity. Men are called dogs today. Why? Because the dogs, they don't get married. They just take anybody in the heat. We're just dealing with life like it's a lustful situation with no discipline or self-control. It's not the way it's supposed to be, and that's why it leads to trouble. When that child is raped, he or she's gonna grow up to be a problem to society. That's why we have the problems. We've created them by not raising the children to be righteous men and women, giving them a Yah state of mind. The Torah has to cover this earth today. You want salvation? We got to rewire the minds with the laws of the Almighty. That's the way it must go. Manners have to come back. Thank you. Politeness, cordiality, being friendly all the time to everyone. Some people, you walk up to them and you want to know, what did you do? Because they're not friendly. They don't have a pleasant disposition. Yes. That interview that you take, you better have a pleasant disposition if you want to get that job. These things matter because everybody knows right from wrong. I know that you can travel to any country and let's say you spit in a person's face and then in China they say, oh, that was great. In Japan they say, no, I didn't like that. No, I'm gonna tell you something. You can go to any country and they're gonna know ugly is ugly, nasty is nasty. Talk to your wife in a nasty way, they can't even understand the language. They can look at your behavior and say, oh, something's going on that's not good over there. See, body language speaks loud. And here's some other evil, that winker, they winking on the side, laughing at somebody. Yah sees it all. He knows it's not right. And that's why we have trouble. And if it goes deeper, and can it go? It can get deeper, and it could be real troublesome when people start to do things like that. Oh yeah, this talk is going faster than I anticipated. What do I mean by that? I haven't even gotten into what I really want to say. See, with righteousness, such a powerful topic, you can talk on this all day and night, especially when you have compassion for it. Because I know this is what we need among our people. More love for each other, more love for the Creator, more love for the whole planet, caring and doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's the only way it's gonna change. I know it, they won't know without it. We gotta get a new outlook on how we're living, or this trouble is gonna get worse. And it seems like more people are dying every year. In fact, I think this Passover, we should call this Passover a overnight after the Passover for months. Because we had 12 months of Passover. Death have passed over everybody that's listening to me. You hope you make it to Passover night. And then my question is, will next year be Passover months? Or do we have a future of Passover years? Death passing over us for a number of years to come. Maybe that'll help you think about getting yourself right. Will your righteousness be enough to let you live through the next years of this death over the planet? This is just one form. Remember I said troubles. So all sorts of other things happening too besides the coronavirus. Let's listen to a little music, think a little bit. Looks like I'm gonna have to do this next week again. Righteousness, righteousness, righteousness. Plead for righteousness, for forgiveness. Hitu ada la Yah. Forgive us, Yah.
I call upon my Savior. Yes, I have lied and I have stolen. This day I'll fast, I afflict my soul. I pray to thee for forgiveness, and I know Yah only is sinless, and he is also merciful, and always wonderful. Almighty King, to you I sing. Yes, you have been and always will be the power of this universe, the only one to remove a curse. I pray to thee day and night, trying so hard to live upright. Consider me not unworthy. Please remove my sins from upon me. I'm wrong, and I confess this pain. I feel my life's a mess. Yah, please, I cry to you, I sing. Save me, my living King. Creator, time and time again, morning, noon, and night I sin. How can I remain alive? It seems so hard for me to survive. Father, Yah, to you I pray. Answer all my prayers this day. Creator, it's hard for me to face my fears. No one in my life even cares. Wicked temptations always here, all around me and so near. Who can I turn to and how? Only I can save me now. I turn to you, oh Yah, my love, my holy King on high above. I offer up to you my praise. From this day on I'll change my ways. With these few words to you I plead. Ooh, Yah, please forgive me. Creator, Yehovah, you are my help and all, oh Yah. Without you I will follow, Yah. My shield, my King, my everything. My power, my Father, my Savior. My guide, my strength, my spirit above. Oh Yah, my King, it's you I love. I know thy mercy never ends. Oh Yah, forgive me for my sin.
Forgiveness is what we desire and what we need on this planet, because we have broken the everlasting covenant. The laws of the Creator are everlasting, not only to Israel, but to all humanity, who one day, from Shabbat to Shabbat and new moon to new moon, all humanity will worship our Creator, the Creator and Maker of heaven and earth. I hope that people will start saying the Creator whenever they say God. If they're not thinking about the Creator who made heaven and earth, they should know they're not speaking about the true and living God, because in Jeremiah 10:10 and 11, he says, all the gods that have not made the heavens and the earth shall perish from under heaven and from off the face of the earth. See, the Creator is the only one who can boast in such a matter. Like, I would like people to look up deities of India and see did they ever say that. Go see if any of the deities of Egypt ever said all the gods that didn't make heaven and earth. So there's only one that can say that. And everybody knows. I'd like you to just take this challenge. Is there a God greater than the things that the Creator did in his book called the Holy Scriptures? Everybody knows that in the Bible is the truest story of the Creator, meaning the Old Testament. Everybody knows that. You can go from country to country. I was in Israel one year, and I remember, I think it was either Chinese or Japanese, I think it was Chinese. They had a bus with maybe 60 people that got off the bus because they too knew about the marvels of Israel. Because if you go to Israel, you see people from all over the world. In fact, there are 103 races, different races that live in our land right now. 103 different nationalities. And we're not there, but they are there. We're represented, but people come to visit. What's my point? These Japanese or Chinese came down to the live sea. Now that live sea, they even tell you like, don't go in there and open up your eyes, don't splash no water, because that has the highest concentration of salt in the ocean in the world. It's in the live sea. That sodium in that water, you don't want to get in your eyes. And about 60 Japanese, maybe 2 busloads of them got off because they were so happy to be in the Holy Land and be at the live sea. They went running down there. You could see them coming. I mean, bop, bop, you knew that somebody was trying to say, halt, stop. They didn't even get the sign. When they splashed that water, and I was watching them, because as soon as that water got, you saw like an about face, and every one of them was running to that shower to get that water in it. Because, hey, but what's my point? Not that they got salt in their eyes, no. People marvel at going to the Holy Land. That's the most beautiful land, says the Creator, on earth. He says his eyes are on that from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. He's watching that place called the middle of the earth, where the Mediterranean, because it's the center of the earth. That's where Israel is located, in case you didn't know. It's true. And so I just want you to know we got to change our ways. Here's a beautiful vision of Zechariah about how Israel will be in the future. Can you vision this? If you can't perceive it, can't achieve it. That's what the first song says. Can you perceive this? Can you imagine this and being there?
Zechariah 8, verse 1. And the word of Jehovah of hosts came, saying, Thus saith Jehovah of hosts, I am jealous for Zion with great jealousy. I am jealous for her with great fury. Thus saith Jehovah, I return unto Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. Jerusalem shall be called the city of truth, and the mountain of Jehovah of hosts, the holy mountain. Thus saith Jehovah of hosts, there shall yet old men and old women sit in the broad places of Jerusalem, every man with a staff in his hand for very age. And the broad places of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the broad places thereof.
Can you imagine that? Elderly people, they need their staff, and they're going to be that old that they need a staff, and they're still going to be right there watching the children play in the land of Israel. He said, that's your future. You're not going to remain in these lands of captivity. One day you're going to go and live in Jerusalem. If you can, he says, if it's marvelous in your eyes, shouldn't be marvelous. He said, Israel, if you can't see it as a beautiful, wonderful thing, why should I? Look at verse 6.
Thus saith Jehovah of hosts, if it be marvelous in the eyes of the remnant of this people in those days, should it also be marvelous in mine eyes? Saith Jehovah of hosts.
And he tells you, only a remnant. So you got to perceive being a part of it. Yeah, every individual. Because it tells you in Jeremiah, he said, I'm going to take 1 from a family and 2 from a city. 2 from a family, 1 from a city. You get the point. I'm not taking all of you. You got to earn your way into salvation. Righteousness delivers from death. It goes on and says,
Thus saith Jehovah of hosts, behold, I will save my people from the east country.
Those that are yet in Africa and those that were exported by those slave ships to the west.
And from the west country.
People don't like the Bible to relate to the day, but I'm doing it. And it's talking to the people that need this message, and you know it can't be no one other than those so-called black people who are the true children of Israel. This is your hope and your confidence of a future.
And I will bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God, in truth and in righteousness.
Oh yeah, you don't believe it? I'm going to play a footage in a minute where European is going to tell you what I'm saying to you right now, because they are good European people that speak truth also.
Thus saith Jehovah of hosts, let your hands be strong. Ye that fear in those days, ye that hear in those days, the words from the mouth of the prophets, that were in the day that the foundation of the house of Jehovah of hosts was laid, even the temple, that it might be built.
In other words, from the earliest of times, Jehovah spoke.
For before those days, there was no hire for man, nor any hire for beast. Neither was there any peace to him that went out or came in because of the adversary.
It was like that because in the days of the judges, it was like that during the days of Hezekiah and many of the kings of Israel. The adversary had come in because of our sins and unrighteousness.
For I set all men, every one against his neighbor.
He divided us and made us fight each other. That's why you had those tribal wars in Africa before the Europeans came. This is history. It goes on and it says.
But now I will not be unto the remnant of this people as in the former days, saith Jehovah.
He says, I'm going to change because you're going to change. This is for you that are making that change, changing your unrighteous ways. All of us that are working on it, this is the reason why we're doing it, because there's a blessing that Yah promised, and we will inherit it because truth has the power to yield the promised effect. You have to do the right thing to get the blessing.
For as a seed of peace, the vine shall give her fruit, and the ground shall give her increase, and the heavens shall give their dew. And I will cause the remnant of this people to inherit all these things.
Everything that's good and pleasant you're going to get because you return to righteousness. And the prophecy says in Isaiah, a remnant shall return, overflowing with righteousness. It's what you have to be striving. You got to try to be the best of the best, the cream of the crop in Israel.
And it shall come to pass that, as you are accursed among the nations, O house of Judah and house of Israel, so will I save you, and he shall be a blessing.
Fear not.
But let your hands be strong.
Be strong to do the right thing. He ain't talking about no muscles, the muscle of your brain, the muscle that you have in your spirit to do the right thing, even when tested, because we all know he is not going to accept our word on this one. The last time we said we'll do everything that he told us, we did the opposite.
For thus saith Jehovah of hosts, as I purpose to do evil unto you,
as I propose to do evil unto you,
when your fathers provoked me,
and he did it, he punished us. That's why we're in America, Guyana, all over this world, listening to a program like this, because we were scattered.
Saith Jehovah of hosts, and I repented not.
And he didn't change his mind to punish us when he said he would do it in Deuteronomy and through the mouth of the prophets. He said, I did it. So again,
do I propose in these days to do good unto Jerusalem and to the house of Judah.
Fear ye not. I don't care how bad things are. The Most High is saying, if you do the right thing, I propose to do good to the good in Israel.
These are the things that he shall do.
He's telling you. Now you tell me, are these good or right things or bad things? Look what he's saying.
Speak ye every man the truth with his neighbor.
Oh, that's a powerful one. Don't lie to each other. Don't get in arguments over no scriptures.
Execute the judgment of truth and peace in your gates.
Don't just talk right, live right, and do what's right.
And let none of you devise evil in your hearts against his neighbor.
Let your thoughts to your brother and your sister be righteous. Yah knows every mind. He knows mine and he knows yours. What type of mind do you have when people get on the bad side, when you get angry? Use this your own family. What do you have in your heart? And love no
false oath.
Don't swear and say things that you know, make promises you know you're not going to keep.
For all these are things that I hate, saith Jehovah.
You better listen to that. I did when Cohen Levy spoke it. That stuff hit me hard. I said, this man's talking some powerful stuff here. And I got to get this. And I'm telling you, I felt it. I fell in love with what he said. Have you ever been around people that speak right and you love how they speak right? Well, I've always loved that because I knew those were good people that try to show you the right thing. Let's go on and end it out, if that's not the last verse. Yeah. So that's our thought on that one. I guess it's time for a little music now. Make you think about some other thoughts, beautiful in song, but I hope you got those precepts. Zechariah, that's the future. I will always means it didn't happen yet. You can be a part of that blessing to get that righteousness, and that's an incentive, encouragement to work on yourself. For me, the pandemic, the coronavirus situation has made me draw more within than ever before. Pray more than ever before. Meditate more than ever before. And like for doing these talks, I could do this all day and night, forever. Because Yah's word is just full of so much powerful stuff. Not for you, for me. See, I read everything 1,000 times before I talk to you about it. No, this is my meditation all the day and night. Doing what's right, because it's a fight. You got to fight it too, just like I do. Everybody's in the same boat. It ain't like you got rule over your spirit and your mind. No, this is a fight for every individual. And you can see how I'm speaking. I'm not trying to tell you, no, I got it together 100%. Nobody living does. There's no man that liveth that sinneth not. Higher, and the highest is the most high. Listen to this song. There's nobody high. You'll never get that high.
See, I know someone who's much higher, 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 higher. Oh yeah, I know someone who's much higher, 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 higher. Yeah, I know someone who's much higher, 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 higher. When I seen wrong prospering wherever they go, I envied the wicked so much that my feet were gone. But now I hold on to someone I know is strong. He my rock and fortress. I put my trust in Yahweh. Then you and me, that the whole world can see. Oh yeah, my King here, he protect us all, and he heard my call. He got a lie. Is his ear heavy to where he will not hear? Is his arm shortened to where he cannot save? Cast your burden down and give them to Yahweh. He much than you and me, that the whole world can see. Protect us all, and he heard my call. No, yeah, Yahweh. I used to worry about if my bills get paid. I used to worry about all of my enemies. I used to worry about if my friends would stay. But now I take my problems and give them to Yahweh. He much than you and me, that the whole world can see. No, my King gives, he protects us all, and he heard my call. Yeah, Yahweh is higher. I used to worry, but I don't know more.
Beautiful song, the highest, yeah. I love the lyrics in songs. See, I don't care how good the music will be. I'm listening to what you're saying out your mouth. That's what gets me. Because then I know you're talking right and good things. See, some people you can call out sisters, bees, and all of them other things. No, you ain't getting me with that. Turn that off, get that out of my ears. I don't want to hear that. I want to listen to righteous sounds. Because you're programming your mind and your spirit. The things you listen to matter. The things you see matter. You gotta have a strong mind and understanding. I love Ezekiel, like that song. Ezekiel 18:14 says this.
Now lo, if he beget a son that seeth all his father's sins, which he hath done and considered, and doeth not such like, that hath not eaten upon the mountains, neither hath lifted up his eyes.
In other words, in that phrase, he's saying that he hasn't served other gods, your son. Go ahead.
To the idols of the house of Israel.
See, that's letting you know. Many Israelites back then were worshiping the idols. Continue.
Hath not defiled his neighbor's wife.
In other words, haven't committed adultery, even then and now. If you haven't done those things now and you don't do it, you're in the path of righteousness.
Neither have wronged any.
Don't do people wrong. Do them right. That's a hard thing, to not do a person wrong and you feel they deserve it. You got the restraint. See, what I've learned in life, that Yah can punish people better than you can. Leave it in his hand, and then you don't have to have nothing on you. See, he'll take care of that business because he's going to deal with everybody's wrong. You just have to have the faith and the trust that he will, and the patience.
Have not taken aught to pledge.
Don't take things from people that need and have them give you something and you just charging them for the help that you're giving them. Bringing it up to date. Neither
have taken by robbery.
Robbing people, thieving, holding up bars.
But have given his bread to the hungry.
Help the needy.
And have covered the naked.
Put some clothes on somebody that don't have one. Do you do things to help? Give charity. All those religions, they always have things like charity. And you know it's the right thing because in all religions, they're good and righteous teachings. And again, many of them coincide and align with the same thing that Yah said. Some of them do not. But in all religions, you find there's some good and right things that they have, the principles of righteousness.
They have withdrawn his hand from the poor.
In other words, you're not charging him, saying, give me something for what I'm giving you.
They have not received interest nor
The
increase.
following thought tells you that what I was saying previously is the same thing because it gives you the complete thought that don't charge them interest nor increase for what you're helping them with.
Have executed mine ordinances. Have walked.
Done his law. Kept his Shabbat days and holy days and the seasons that are correct.
Have walked in my statutes. He shall not die. For the iniquity of his father, he shall surely live.
That's what I'm telling you. You don't have to worry about being punished for what someone else does. Yah is just. He gives every person according to their own doings. Psalm 119, a beautiful thought about righteousness.
Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is true.
See, that's what we have to know. The righteousness of Yah is the same today as it was yesterday. It's going to be the same in the future. He's not going to tell you later on, don't honor your mother and your father. That is an eternal law. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the earth, which Jehovah thy power giveth thee. All of those things, don't lie to one another. Don't steal. Don't hold a grudge. Don't have hatred in your heart. You have to fight your spirit to achieve that. You can't tell me that it ain't no struggle. It is. And the person that can rule over their mind and their feelings and their emotions is greater than the person that has the power to conquer the whole city of warriors. It's righteousness. Righteousness, Isaiah 50, verse 4-8 says.
Jehovah Elohim had given me the tongue of them that are taught, that I should know how to sustain with word him that is weary. He waketh morning by morning. He wakeneth mine ear to hear as they that are taught. Jehovah had opened my ear, and I was not rebellious, neither turned away backward. I gave my back to the smiters, and my cheeks to them that plucked off the hair. I hid not my face from shame and spitting, for Jehovah Elohim will help me. Therefore have I not been confounded. Therefore have I set my face like a flint, and I know that I shall not be ashamed. He is near that justifieth me. Who will contend with me? Let us stand up together. Who is mine adversary? Let him come near to me.
In other words, when you're strong in Yah, you can deal with people that perhaps do you wrong. You have to have that inner strength, that inner conviction to do the right thing. Righteousness has to be in your heart, the law. Proverbs 10:24 says, righteousness brings success and prosperity.
The fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him, and the desire of the righteous shall be granted.
See, that's what you get. When you're righteous, he gives you what you ask for. That's an incentive to do the right thing. Your prayers will be answered. If you pray for your family and they're sick, you have a better chance of being heard than if you're evil.
When the world went passive, the wicked is no more.
That's what happens with the wicked. When trouble comes, it sweeps them away. But if you're righteous,
but the righteous is an everlasting foundation.
You're not going to be moved. You just got to be continuously striving to do right. If you slip and make a mistake, get up in the morning. Go to bed at night and say Salat Li. See, for me, I told you I was sharing to my personal thoughts. People should ask for forgiveness every day. I don't tell you to do it. That's what I do. Because you don't know when you did wrong during the day. So why not just say to Creator, if I did any wrong, forgive me for what I've done today. And you got to be mindful that you didn't, but you could have slipped. You just don't know. But it's a level of humility before Yah, because you know He's always right. We are not. Proverbs 10:4-5 says.
Chapter 11. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivered from death.
That's what you have to know. Righteousness delivers from death. It says more.
The righteousness of the sincere shall make straight his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness.
Cohane Levi used to tell me all the time, and he said that any speaker, your number one thing is sincerity. Are you sincere about what you're saying and what you're speaking? Are you honest within yourself about what you're saying? That's what makes what I'm doing so easy. I believe it in my own self. That's my own struggle, always has been, to try to figure out right in every situation. Call on the Creator to help and guide you in your struggle and your challenge, because we all face them. That's what living is about. Yah said it in the mouth of Job 14:1. Man that is born of a woman is a few days and full of trouble. You can't be a human being and don't encounter trouble. How do you handle the trouble? Who do you go to help you? Where do you get your thoughts? Whose book do you read? See, if you read the Torah and the Tanakh long enough, you won't have to read it to get the thoughts. They're already inside of you. Cohen used to read the Psalm every day. He said he'd read a Psalm. How often do you read your Bible? How often do you get in touch with the Lord? How often do you think about the Lord when you don't open up the book? Or do you just do your thing on the Shabbat? And some of us right now, we're more into catching the next program than going to Yah as our individual self. I hope you're doing both. I hope you have some personal Yah time and you're just not just listening to this program or any program. I hope that any program that you're listening to is inspiring you to fear Yah and keep His commandments. then it's worth it. And then you just have to now go and continue in that spirit of those words of Yah. That's what it's about. As a man thinketh, so is he. As a woman thinketh, so is she. What do you think about? How do you think about what you think about? Is corruption in your spirit? Let's look at Proverbs 11:15 to 19.
He that is surety for a stranger shall smart for it.
In other words, some people like they say, oh, I got him. I know him well. He's all right. You sure? Do you know people that well that you can put to? I remember one brother said that if your man is, you can put up, here's how you test whether you want to vouch for someone else's righteousness. Let's say this brother, this sister has committed a crime. They're about to be hung on the gallows. And you know them so well and they're righteous. You said, look, he's going to be hung at 12 o'clock. It's now 11:35. He says, hold on, I just want to go, brother. And he said, anybody here can take his place as long as he gets back by 12. He wants to go and say shalom to his wife and children because they were afraid to come. Do you trust him enough to put your head and your neck in the noose until he get back in 25 minutes? Do you know him that well? Because that's what this is saying. He that is surety for a stranger shall smart for it, meaning that you're going to be hung if you really don't know this person's righteousness. But what does it say in the other part?
But he that hateth them that strike hands is secure.
In other words, you know how it goes. Give me five, you know, people that are just like the winking of the eye people, and all of them, Jehovah hate them people that strike hands, you know. They like a clique and a club for evil. Don't be in that club. Don't follow the multitude to do evil. Don't even follow a small group of people to do evil. You do what's right.
A gracious woman obtaineth honor, and strong men obtain riches.
You better believe it. A gracious woman, a kind woman, she's going to be blessed with honor.
The merciful man doeth good to his own soul, but he that is cruel troubleth his own flesh.
See, that's what I know. When you do other people wrong, you hurting yourself. When you do other people good, you're blessing your own soul. That's why you should do good to other people, because it's going to get you a blessing. Whereas if you do them wrong, cruel, you're going to get trouble. You're troubling your own flesh. Two wrongs don't make a right. It says.
The wicked earneth deceitful wages.
Yes, they don't care how they get their money, but
he that soweth righteousness hath a sure reward.
Oh, yours is going to be lasting because you're doing the right thing. See, money comes and money goes. But when God is with you, he protects you. He keeps you safe and keeps you peace. There are people that have money, but what do you want to spend it on? The doctor? The lawyer? You want to spend it on your operation? Or do you want to spend it on your children and your wife and your family having a good time? You have a choice. Righteousness is your choice.
Steadfast righteousness tendeth to life.
See, you can't be righteous in the morning, evil at night. You can't be righteous today and evil tomorrow. You got to get this to be you. That's why I said, who are you? Most of the time, all the time. You're striving to be the same all the time. Keep a good walk.
But he that pursueth evil, pursueth it to his own death.
You're doing your own dirt when you do that evil. And I hope you get it. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Because the earth needs it. The planet needs you and me and all of us to do the right thing. Because Yah is angry. We can see that this thing, now you know the saddest thing could happen is if these vaccines turn out to be worse than the virus. Now you had people that have been dying from the virus, getting sick. But if the Creator makes that vaccine worse, which he can't do, then we got a serious problem on the planet, because what we thought was a cure made the problem worse. Because Yah can make it work and Yah can make it not work. He's the one that's going to decide whether whatever we do is going to prosper us or not, or be a blessing. I want to have some flashes. First of all, I want a man that's going to tell you what I've been telling you. He's a European, and he speaks right. See, this ain't about white and black. I told you that in the beginning. This man is going to speak the truth. Listen to him.
Now, let me say something right quick. I think back on the African-American people in America. I think how that they were taken against their wills, put in the belly of ships, brought over here, beat, cussed. Many of them died in the guts of those ships, thrown overboard. They were pulled from families over there. You ain't never heard a gut-wrenching song. Do you hear a black person sing one of those old black Negro spirituals? Nobody knows. I can't sing it like that, see, because I hadn't experienced what they be. When you've experienced hell, it comes out of the voice. I say when you experience hell, it comes out of the voice. If you're one of those people that you got problem with black people or whatever, you better shut your mouth, because they're God's people. You better hear what I'm saying to you. You better shut your white mouth. You better shut your white mouth. I'm not kidding you. I know some of you was raised in the deep South, and you was raised by prejudiced people and bigoted people. You better get that out of your system. You better get it out of your system. It'll cause you to suffer right along with those masters. It'll cause you to suffer right along with them. These are God's people. And I know that there's wicked in white races and wicked in black races and all that. I'm not justifying none of that stuff. I'm just saying God knows what happened to the black race. He knows how they wound up over here, and God is going to reimburse the black people for all their trouble and all their labor. You watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you. Listen.
Again, you might have seen some things that flashed on the screen that were not from us, out of our control, but I don't think it was appropriate, so I apologize for how and whomsoever put those up on the screen. It was not from our technicians. I think what we heard just a few minutes ago is the words you heard me say as well, because it's not about color. That man spoke truth. And perhaps everybody in that audience didn't feel the way he felt about what he said, because everyone's being judged for their righteousness. Part of our problem today is the fact that there's a fight between conservatism and liberalism. See, in conservatism, there's the disposition, we're not speaking about politics here, but the idea of what is established and maintained are the old values, manners, family love, unity that we read about in the Torah. That's the conservatism that I'm speaking about at this moment. Let's go back to those old ways, the ways that our parents were, even in the country in the South and in the inlands of Jamaica, the country lands of Guyana and the interior lands of Grenada and what have you. The country folks, you all know what I'm speaking about. They were friendly when you come by. How you doing, neighbor? Willing to give you a meal. We got a lock on the cupboard, the food cabinet. They offer you something to take home with you when you're leaving. We got to watch and make sure they didn't steal anything on the way out the door. I mean, we got to change this, the way we're living. And you know, this liberal way that they have this way now that they want us to be free, and everybody's generosity is marked by this open-handedness. And of course, liberalism lacks moral restraint. do whatever you want. You know, you want to be a boy, be a girl. You want to be a girl, be a boy. Anything, whatever you want to do it. Everything is unisex, boys and girls. Everything is everything. It's a liberalism. You got to get rid of this idea. Not literal or strict. That's why they say, but it don't mean that literally in the Bible. Thou shalt not steal don't mean that literally. It means it literally. Don't take other people's belongings. Oh, that lie, he don't mean don't lie. He means that it's a white lie, but he don't mean like that. He means don't tell falsehoods and speak things out of your mouth that are not true and sincere and honest. Stop trying to, tweak the law. Liberalism, loose. That's what everybody want to do. They don't want to walk in the path of righteousness. They want to be able to do whatever they want to do, not bound by this authoritarianism of Yah, the one who's higher and higher. Let's end out with that one again. I love that song and so many like it. Yes, we got to become traditional formed people that are not in conflict with the Torah. We willingly obey. We love Yah. We love his law. We love doing right. We love each other. Higher thinking, higher living, higher authority. Let's close out with that song at this time. I want to just say the blessing to you. May Yah bless your families. Those that have had death in Israel, those that have had sicknesses and deaths in other places. May Yah bless you and comfort you in this time of your sorrow and sadness. Heal the sick and may he bless us all with righteousness and righteous minds. For his name's sake. Yivareka Yehovah Yishmareka. Ya'ir Yehovah Panayo Aleka Wikoneka. Yisa Yehovah Panayo Aleka. Wayasim Leka Shalom. May Yehovah bless thee and keep thee. May Yehovah cause his face to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. May Yehovah lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Hallelujah. Play both of our closing songs. Hi, Yavareka. Here's a part of it. Tamshi.
Yeah. See, I know someone who's much higher, 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 higher. Oh yeah, I know someone who's much higher, 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 higher. Yeah, I know someone who's much higher, 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 higher. When I seen wrong prospering wherever they go, I envied the wicked so much that my feet were gone. But now I hold on to someone I know is strong. He my rock and fortress. I put my trust in Yahweh. Then you and me, that the whole world can see. Oh yeah, my King here, he protect us all, and he heard my call. No, yeah, Yahweh is higher. Is he Yah a man to where he gotta lie? Is his ear heavy to where he will not hear? Is his arm shortened to where he cannot save? Cast your burden down and give them to Yahweh. He must. Then you.
should put my name upon the children of Israel, and I bless them. Sing
Family to among Israel so Namidi Mishira one family to among Israel so Namidi Mishira